Hi, everybody. It's Sam Bennett from the Organized Artist Company. How are you? Great to see you all here. I'm starting this just a little early so we can make sure we're not having any major technical difficulties. Oh, I can fix my book that's fallen over. That's a little better. Good. Let me just write in. Hi, everyone. Good. So we'll start in just a minute or two. So if you're watching this on the recording, you can take a second to get yourself a drink of water. You can you'll for sure want pen and paper so that you can doodle. I know a lot of you think better when your hands are busy, and also so that you can take notes, because you're going to have a lot of notes to take during this. Turn off your phone like I just did. Look, I got the Organized Artist Company logo on my phone. Turn off your phone and we'll get started. Let's see. Hi, everybody. Those are the people who are jumping in now. You can go ahead and just type in hi. Let me know that you can see me and hear me. I'd love to know how it is you like to creatively express yourself. What is it you love to do for love or for fun? What's your business? What are you up to? You know, any of that. Get my notes set up. There's Sophia. There's Monica. Hi. Hi, everybody. Great. I love it when people are here early. We've got about 3 minutes to go. So again, just center in. Sophia likes to write and does life coaching. Excellent. Both highly creative activities. Very good. Very good. And I'm wondering too, I have a question I want to ask, actually. So let me, how much is not charging enough costing you? Under 500 a month, under 1,000 a month. This watching me type. I'm wondering how much not charging enough is costing you, because it's easy to not really put a dollar value on these things, and I kind of want you to. So here, let's start the poll. Okay, so that'll give us a little something to do. There's Anaya. Hi, I'm from the UK, or Anya. Hi, I'm from the UK. I teach people to sew, and I'm in the process of writing a book. Excellent. Will there be a recording of this? Sophia, God willing, and the creek don't rise, there will be a recording of this, but some technical things are out of my control. But yes, I'm planning on releasing the recording. Good. We've got about 1 minute before we start officially. Great. Lovely to see you all here. I love it that there's so many people from all over the world. I do these sort of midday Pacific time because I find that gives me access to most of the English-speaking world. I have a hair in my mouth. It's a little early in the day for people in Sydney, but otherwise it's a pretty good time. So I'm really glad to see you all showing up for this. I think it's really exciting. All right, so I've got right up there at the top of the hour. So let's start. You ready? Hi, everybody. It's Sam Bennett from the OrganizedArtistCompany.com, and you are here because you can't figure out how much to charge, and you have questions, and your questions are around that you don't know how much to charge, that you are totally confused about even how to even figure out how much to charge, or some of you know what you want to charge, but you just don't think anybody's going to pay that much. And sometimes you feel like, I know that people are struggling out there and I want to help them. And I feel like charging them a lot is putting another burden on them. It's interfering with your sense of do-gooderness. And some of you are having a combination of those problems. So if that's you, you're in the right spot because we're going to fix this today. So I want to start with our breathing. This is the way I like to start everything. It just gives us a chance to gather together, right? To be in this space and this time together and to start to think about our lives and our businesses and our creative output in a slightly different way. So we're going to inhale for a count of 4, hold for a count of 7, exhale for a count of 8. I'm going to do that 3 times. I'll count us through it. If you want to ignore it, that's fine with me. If you want to set an intention for yourself for this time together, that's fine with me. So just let your belly go really poochy soft. Open your hands. Soften your gaze. Give yourself a little Mona Lisa smile. Think something wonderful about yourself. Imagine somebody saying something so dear it just makes you blush. You ready? Let's inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for doing that with me. Today, I'm going to give you a couple of important things. One is a couple of mindset shifts that were the ones that I had to make that allowed me from being super broke and barely scraping by every month and kind of making almost enough money, but not quite every month, to having a business that's, I made it into 6 figures in less than 3 years, I think. And now, we're at almost $500,000 in sales, and we'll hopefully hit $1 million this year. So, and it's not that hard. I'm here to tell you it's not that hard. So the first are the mindset shifts, because, if you don't fix your inside, you can't fix the outside. So we'll talk about those really quickly. And I can do it fast because you guys are so sophisticated. Like, you'll get it right away. I'll give you some super practical tips on pricing, the magic and art and science of pricing. And then we're going to talk about my new program. And I have an unbelievable offer for you for this new program. You'll have to wait to hear it, but it's your mind will officially be blown. Let me just say that. Okay. And then I have some of your questions. I'll take your questions live, and I have some questions that you all typed in that I will answer. So that's what our plan is for today. Does that all sound okay with everybody? Everybody all in? Thumbs up? Yes, me too. Let me just see who's here. Good, great, nice to see you, everybody. And this is great. So how much is not charging enough costing you? 17% of you say it's costing you over $500 a month. 50% of you say it's costing you over $1,000 a month. 33% of you say it's costing you over $5,000 a month. This is a pricey problem. This is a pricey problem. And the good news, bad news on this is it's almost entirely an inside problem. And in fact, when I asked you all about what is getting in your way, all of you said things like, it's a self-worth thing. I'm not really sure I'm that much of an expert. I lose my nerve when it comes to asking for the price. And that's all inside stuff. None of you said external economic conditions. None of you said, oh, the way the tax code is right now is really inhibiting my growth, or my inability to get product from China is really inhibiting my growth. None of you referenced external things. You all referenced internal things, which is kind of a good news, bad news story, because the good news is it's all you, The bad news is it's all you, but the good news is it's all you. So you can fix you, right? You can change your thinking. Neuroplasticity is one of the great discoveries of our time. We can literally rewire ourselves and begin to think differently about money and about what we do and what we charge. I get it that it can feel like a very intense emotional issue. I get it that it can feel really entrenched. I think for many of us who are walking a spiritual path, a path of lifelong learning, a path of wanting to be a force for good in the world, money is often the place where our learning shows last. Like, I'm all good when I'm in meditation class. I'm pretty good with my family even. I've worked out my stuff with food. Like, you've worked it out on a bunch of different levels. The money's the last place. And I'm here to tell you, until you work it out with money, you don't really know it. Until you are seeing the results in your life, you don't really know it. You can believe in abundance all you want, but if you are not experiencing abundance in your actual life and in your actual bank account, you don't really know it. You may understand it intellectually. I'm sure you do. You're extremely smart, but you're not living it. And that's the difference between having a good idea about a piece of art and actually making it. Two totally different things. It's like the difference between reading about swimming and actually swimming. Two totally different things. So we're going to get you actually swimming. We're going to get you actually swimming in the sea of abundance. Let's see, not playing. I wonder if I drop the definition. You may want to make sure that all your other windows are closed, all your other programs are closed, and what else did I want to say? Oh, and if you've got anything that syncs in the background, like Dropbox or something, shut that down. Let's see if that's any better. Okay, great. So the poll, a third of you, it's costing you over $5,000 a month. 50% is costing you over $1,000 a month. Almost 20% over $500 a month. Okay, I'm going to end that poll, but that was really interesting. I'm so glad I asked that question. Good. So, you ready for these mindset shifts? Because let's do this. Mindset shift number one, and this is going to sound really basic until you really feel it in your belly. There's plenty of money. There's no shortage of money. There are plenty of clients, plenty of ideal clients. And ideal clients need you, they know they need you, they can easily afford you, and they share your value systems. They share your values, they get you. There's no shortage of those people. If you are a person who likes to take notes, write this down. There is no shortage of money. There is no shortage of ideal clients. When you understand that, when you really put that notion into practice, anytime you need to fill a workshop or sell more things, you can say, well, I know the money must be here because there's no shortage of money. I know the clients must be here because there's no shortage of clients. So how do I go about reaching them? How do I go about talking to them in a way that's compelling? How do I move forward? If you believe there's not enough, you're not even going to try. You're not even going to start. So there's plenty of money. It may not be in your wallet right now. It may not be in my wallet right now, but it's out there. And it's not that hard to find. Start to notice the flow of money. Start to notice how many people are spending how much stuff. Think of all the shopping malls in the world. All of those stores have to pay rent. All of those stores are packed to the brim with stuff that people are buying. There's so much flow. There's so much flow. Can you feel that? Can you feel? And if you can't, just imagine it. Imagine all the dollar bills lit up in all currencies all over the world. And imagine them flying back and forth like little beams of light. Right? And if you want to, you can imagine a circle of your ideal clients, people who would love what you have. They're already into it. They don't need convincing. They're down. They want it. They've been looking for you. And they're standing in a circle right around you, and they've got their credit cards in their hand. They're just waiting. They're just waiting. They're so eager and they're waiting. Can you imagine that? Does that make sense to you? And when you think that, does that relax you? Because the truth is relaxing. Oh, of course. There's lots of people who want what I have. Of course. There's lots of money out there. Right? Isn't that a nicer place to start from than there isn't enough and I better conserve and I better scrimp and I better save and nobody wants this and who do I think I am and spiral, 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 express elevator to hell? Right? Good. Go ahead and type into the chat if this is making sense to you. There's plenty of money in the world. There's plenty of clients in the world. And let me know if my dropping my definition has solved your blurriness issues. How we doing? Good. The next thing, and I know there's a little delay between when I talk and when you see it and when you write and when I read it and stuff. So we'll just surf that. Allison says, such a good, relaxing truth. Good, good. Yes, yes. So, so we're going to stay in this space that there's plenty. There's plenty. There's plenty for all of us. There's plenty for all of us. You can write that down too. There's plenty for all of us. Good. The second mindset thing that I want you to think about. Oh, Cindy says, when you made the statement, if there's no shortage of money or ideal clients, my chest relaxed and I feel excited. Right. Good. And that's the place we can make money from. That's the place we can get our gifts out into the world from, is that state, relaxation and abundance. We can be so calm in the face of abundance, right? Good. So the second thing is money is a symbol of an energetic exchange. Money is the symbol of an energetic exchange. So let's unpack that a little bit. What's an energetic exchange? It's an energetic exchange when you hug someone, right? When you embrace someone, you're exchanging energy. When you have sex with someone, that's an energetic exchange. Those of you who are healers know that you can actually put energy, interact with someone energetically. What else? Paying attention to someone can be an energetic exchange. Cooking a meal for someone can be an energetic exchange, right? So we're always doing things back and forth for each other. And it feels nice when we're met, right? When what we do is met. That's what makes it an exchange. So somebody, you cook a nice meal for somebody and they give you a nice compliment and invite you over later. Somebody gives you a back rub, you give them a back rub. When you're having sex with somebody, you get to give and they get to give, and in the giving and the receiving, there is flow, right? Good. So, and this is what trips some of you up, is some of what you're doing. Art is often an energetic exchange. Pardon me. Healing is an energetic exchange. And it can feel weird to try and quantify that energetic exchange and say, well, it's worth X amount of dollars. I get it that feels weird. The thing is, we have to do that. Because if other people aren't giving us money, then there isn't, and the exchange isn't there. So you show up with your talents and skills, your ability, your work, your years of training, your years of experience, your insights, your intuition, and they show up with money. And that's what they have some skin in the game too. And in this case, the skin is represented by money. So it is only when you are charging sufficiently that the exchange is right. If it's not right, well, you know how that is when you're putting a lot in and not getting a lot out, right? Pardon me, we've all had relationships like that. We've all had sex like that, right? Where you're putting a lot in and you're not getting a lot out. And you're like, this isn't really going to work for me for very long. There needs to be a sense of flow. Now, it doesn't need to be tit for tat, right? We're not trying to be scorekeepers here. And we understand that there's an overall energetic exchange. You know, sometimes we put a lot out over here and we get a lot back from over here. We do this thing that doesn't, you know, take us very much time, but it brings in this amount of money. Or we do something that costs us this amount of money and it brings us in this much, right? So it's not always exactly one for one. We understand that. But overall, we want it to feel like what we're putting out and what we're getting back, that there's something commensurate there. Because otherwise it is not an energetic exchange, and certainly not a sacred exchange. And for most of you guys, your sales are a sacred exchange of energy. It's a sacred engagement. So don't think that by talking about money with people, you are getting into something dirty or tawdry. On the contrary, you are elevating the conversation to a place of commitment and responsibility and joy. All right, so go ahead and write down. Money is just the symbol of an energetic exchange. Sales are a sacred exchange of energy. Sales is a sacred exchange of energy. So how does that land for you guys? How do you feel about that? Does that make sense to you? Does that confuse you? Does that feel like, oh, yes, I can see how me putting out a lot and then not asking for enough throws things off balance, right? And I can see that sometimes people are paying me not only for what I'm doing in that moment, but for what's happened before, that there's an overall averaging of things. Yes, yes, beautiful. Fiona says there's plenty, even if it's not in my wallet right now, that gives me confidence. Yes. Good, so we work from a place of confidence, of relaxation, and of understanding that we are part of a sacred exchange. Catherine says, understanding how the money exchange piece is what allows the flow is such a happy awareness. Thank you. Yeah, good, 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 good. Because money itself is neutral. It's just a thing. You know, it's just, we just said, like, it's money. We could have said it's Post-its, you know. Good, so those are the first two mindsets. And it says, it elevates the exchange and I see how the flow has not been balanced. Right, right. And you're keeping it out of balance. You're keeping it out of balance. Good, and luckily you can change it. Okay, so this third one, I said at an event a couple of years ago, and it kind of blew my mind when I said it. Have you ever done that where you say something and you're like, oh, that's so true, and I've never said it that way before. So you ready? You are already getting paid in the currency you're asking for. You are already getting paid in the currency you're asking for. So that energetic exchange we talked about is already happening, but if it's not happening in money, then it's happening in some other way. So it depends on what you're asking for. You may be asking for likes on Facebook. You may be asking for respect of your peers. You may be asking for enthusiasm. You know, you may be asking for affection. For a year, when I first started my business, I did a good job of growing my list. You know, you guys get on the list, you get the poems, people were writing me back. There was a lot of, you know, lovey-doveyness. And I was more interested in the lovey-doveyness than I was in making money. Consequently, I had a lot more affection than money. And my concern around the affection meant that when I was selling something, I would do it like, hey everybody, I've got this pen for sale if you want it, but if you don't, that's okay. And let's talk about something else. Here's another free thing. Right? You can see how that strategy might result in not very many sales. And a lot of you are doing the same thing. You're not offering things for sale, and when you are, you're doing it in a very small, I don't feel comfortable about this way, and people read you energetically. You know, if you don't feel comfortable putting it out there, they're not going to feel comfortable buying it, right? So notice how you're getting paid right now. You may also be getting paid in neglect. For a long time, I was kind of into martyrdom. I went to therapy. I worked it out. But, you know, I was kind of, it made sense to me because of who I am and the way I grew up for me to work very hard and then be kind of ignored. To have this phrase of, I had this phrase of like, I work and I work and I work and I don't get anywhere. Everybody tells me how talented I am, but I don't get anywhere. That was me. I was setting it up so that I could get paid in neglect. So how are you getting paid right now? How are you getting paid right now? You may be getting paid in neglect. You may be getting paid in confusion. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I can't decide. I don't know. And what are you going to get back? A lot of people going, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Right? Sophia says, my connotation of the word's sales is so different from this lovely sacred exchange language, which my heart gets. Yeah, exactly. Yes, Stacy says, yep, sounds like me, hits home. Patrice says, how can we switch from kudos to real money? Okay, good, great question. So that's part of it, is just acknowledging this, like, oh, I'm already getting paid. I'm already getting what I ask for. So if I ask for money, chances are I will get more money. And it doesn't mean you're not going to get the kudos and the affection and the love. I still have a very lovey-dovey relationship with my list. I still have people telling me how talented I am, and I get paid, right? So the fourth mindset, so the first one is there's plenty of money, there's plenty of ideal clients. The second, that money is a symbol of an energetic exchange. Sales is a sacred exchange of energy. The third thing is that you're already getting paid in the currency that you're asking for. And the fourth thing is this. You are not, quit thinking that you need to charge what you're worth. And I see this a lot in the self-help personal development space. Like, charge what you're worth. You know, how to get what you're worth. It's not a question of what you're worth. That's ridiculous. Your worth is not on the line. Your worth is intrinsic. Your worth does not change. It doesn't change with your age. It doesn't change with your talent. It doesn't change with your income. It doesn't change with your health. You know, we would never look at a room full of babies and say, oh, that baby is worth more than that baby. No, of course not. We say these babies are all worth the same. We don't look at a room full, you know, never. So understanding that your worth is intrinsic. You are not charging according to your own worth. You are charging according to what it is worth to them. You want to charge according to what it is worth to them. What is the transformation worth to them? What is the article worth to them? What does it give them? And that value is going to be maybe far different than what you feel it's worth. I got this question too, a lot of like, well, you know, it doesn't cost me very much, it doesn't take me very long to make it, or I kind of do this automatically, like I have a natural gift for this, so I feel funny charging for it. All the more reason you should charge more, by the way, the fact that you have a natural gift for something, all the more reason. And what is it worth to them? So what is it worth to them to have an incredibly unique, beautiful piece of art that nobody else has? That, you know, fits in their space and reassures them and lights them up every time they look at it? What is it worth to them to have macrobiotic meals delivered twice a week? What is it worth to them to have a yoga teacher who really understands how to take care of your back? What is it worth to them to have a healer that can cleanse their spirit and let them come to work refreshed? What is it worth to them? And again, I understand it can be difficult to quantify that sometimes, but there's ways to do it. And I'll talk about that in a second. But I just want you to get the idea right now that like this has nothing to do with your worth, right? So just get over it. And those of you who are depressed or suffer from low self-worth, I also suffer from depression and low self-worth, you can separate out those two issues. They're totally different. The question is only, what is it worth to them? Fiona says, I'm getting paid in support and random coffees. Excellent, right? That's probably what you're asking for. That's probably what you're asking for. Good. So we're 24 minutes in, and I'm here to tell you that these 4 ideas, these 4 mindset shifts, if you really put them into practice, if you really start getting it, then you can change everything. You can change everything. Allison says, these ideas are so good and simple. Yeah, it is simple. It is simple. And I know it's frustrating when I tell people this is easy. It's not that hard to make money. And it's really not. It's really not. Once you understand the actual truth of what's happening, it's pretty, I mean, there are things about it that are hard, but it's not any harder than what you're doing right now. Making money is not harder than being broke. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. Majna's saying she's having trouble with the sound. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. I will, this will absolutely be available for a replay, but I hope the sound works on the replay. But if it doesn't, I guess maybe I'll try and re-record. So thanks for hanging in there through the technical difficulties. These webinars are great, but they take a lot of bandwidth. Good. So so make sure you've written down these 4 things: that there's plenty of money and plenty of clients. Sales is a sacred exchange of energy. You're already getting paid in the currency you're asking for, and you're not charging what you're worth. You're charging what it's worth to them. Okay, good. All right. So now let's get to Patrice's thing. Oh, you guys are so helpful. Stacey says she can try rebooting the page. Yeah, Masha says she's been trying repeatedly to reconnect. You might want to shut down your computer entirely, unplug it, and then restart. Sometimes that helps. And like I said, make sure that all your other windows and stuff are closed, and make sure there's nobody else in the house, like downloading or streaming something. That can interfere too. Okay. Here are some super helpful tips in terms of how to actually go from all right. The first one, and I say this all the time, and again, it sounds super simple, but the people who've actually implemented it have seen their lives change, which is double your prices and offer a money-back guarantee. Double your prices, offer a money-back guarantee. And because you know you're going to over-deliver. You know you are. And if somebody's not happy, then you don't want their money anyway, right? So that's the quickest advice I have for you on how to double your income, is just double your prices. The second tip, and because I can hear you thinking but I already have people that are paying me only $10. How can I tell them it's $100? All right, hold on. Hang on. I'll give you the strategy for how you raise your prices. If you have existing clients, you want to raise your rates, but you have existing clients, you change your rates. You let your new people know the new prices. You send a letter to your old clients and say, hello, old clients. You're my favorites because I love you and I love working with you. As of, June 1st or July 1st, my prices are going up to X. So let's say you've been charging them $100 an hour. You want to charge them $200. You're going up to $200. But because they're such great long-term clients, you're only going to raise them up to $175. Right? That way they're getting a bargain. And you are honoring your relationship with them. Might you lose a few? Yeah, you might. You might. And there might be one that you're like, no, I love this person. They were my first client. I can't possibly charge them more. I just love them. Okay, fine. Keep one. But you can lose, remember, at the new rate, you can lose 2 of these people, again, 1 of a new person, and you're still the same. You're still even, right? So just let them know. And you can make them a special offer even. You can also say, hi, you guys have been paying $100. I'm raising my rates to $200. If you want, as of July 1st, everybody's going to be paying $200. But if you want to buy hours in advance, do it now. And then you can have them prepay for services that you'll deliver after the 1st. So that's another way to do it. Jack says, double your pricing and give a money-back guarantee. How do clients feel about the money-back guarantee? Does it still make us seem professional? I think so. I mean, I've never had a problem with it. I mean, you do have to have a real come to Jesus with yourself. I often, for almost all my programs, I say satisfaction guaranteed or your money cheerfully refunded. And you have to mean it. You have to mean it. You can't go back on it. But this is what I mean about a sacred exchange. I want to be engaged with people who pay me happily. I want them to pay me cheerfully. And if they're not, delighted, if they're not thrilled to the gills by what I'm doing, then, and what we're doing together, then it's not a good match. And I would much rather, part of that's just my personality too. I would much rather have it be that, just be clean, simple, fine. I'd rather take a loss. Now, I've never had to. Hardly anybody's ever taken me up on this offer. But I'd rather do that than have to, I have friends in the coaching business who are coaches. I'm not a coach, but they are, who are like, oh, well, if they show me all the work, if they show up for everything and they've done everything and then they can prove to me that then they didn't see results, then I'll give them their money back. I'm like, I'm not your mom and this isn't school, So it's worked for me. It's just a suggestion. You can try it and see how you feel about it. And again, I think it's a real trust builder myself, but that's just my opinion. LL will take anything back anytime. I love that about them. Nordstrom. It reduces a lot of friction for people. But I get it if you've got something that involves a lot of hard costs up front, you might want to have it be different. But it's just a piece of advice. Allison says, what it's worth to them. I need to start thinking about that every day in many things. Right. So let me just speak to that for a second, because I understand that this can be a little complicated. Like, what is it worth to them? And you can even ask your clients, like, what is it worth to you to have full mobility in your back? What is it worth to you to not argue with your husband? If you're a relationship coach, what is it? How much would you pay to have this problem solved? How much have you paid to have this problem solved? How many other things have you tried? I just asked you guys to quantify how much is it costing you every month to not be charging enough. Over $5,000 a month? Over $1,000 a month? That's a lot. That's a lot. Right? So if you ask people, is it costing you a day, a month of work to have these headaches? Are you not inviting people over? Are you not feeling confident? Are you not speaking up for yourself? Right? There's ways to quantify these things. G says, I recently raised my rates just $25 an hour from $100 to $125 and have had several clients push back and tell me that $25 makes a difference in affordability. Do you get much pushback when doubling the rate and not gradually stepping it up? Yeah, sometimes. And then those people aren't ideal clients, right? Those people aren't ideal clients. I find that the clients who quibble with me or who want to quibble, I don't really have very many of them, but they're not good clients. They're not a good match in other ways. They're draining in other ways, Again, the clients I look for are the ones who are like, let's just make it happen. They don't care what it costs. They don't care. I mean, they care, but it's worth it to them. The transformation is worth it to them. The experience is worth it to them. So you may lose one or two of those people. That's okay. That's okay. And that experience, and what I'm guessing is that it is just one or two who are pushing back, and you may be slightly overreacting because you're feeling sensitive about it. And that's the dragons at the gate, right? That's the test. This is entrepreneurship as spiritual development, because you are being called forward to be braver, to stick by your guns. You might be being called forward to be clearer about the results of what you're delivering. You might say, well, are you experiencing, XYZ results? Is that worth another $25? I'm going to say yes. If they don't feel like it is, they can go find another practitioner or another person. Wendy says also cost in our health, not just money, right? Exactly. KD says, hi, my clients are schools. They tend to have a budget cap for services we provide. Is there a way to add value and be able to charge to a different budget? Is there a client market similar to a school that I'm missing? I'm sure there's a client market similar to a school that you're missing. You can also get funding from other places. I don't want to get into too many specifics about this, but yeah, I would get creative with that. And also, again, I noticed that schools, just like people, when they really want something, they find the money. When they really want something, they find the money. Have you noticed this? That like nobody has any money, and then suddenly a new iPhone comes out and everybody's got $500 or $700 or whatever they are now. Amazing. And I'm not saying that's bad. I'm saying they really want it, so they find the money. That's desire leads to commitment. Jack says, should we still bill monthly or quarterly? What have you seen that works out better? It kind of depends on your vertical, on where you're working, Jack. The less often you can bill, the better. If you can get people to pay in full up front, that's always better. When people see a bill every month, it's always a little like, is this really worth it? And you don't want to have them remaking that decision every time. They may pay you on retainer. It depends a little bit on what you do and how you do it, but billing less often is better, I think. Okay. The final little practical tip I have for you before I talk about this program and answer your questions. Let me just tell you what the questions I'm going to answer. I want to help. People need my work. I want to help them. I'm new. I'm just finishing up certification. How much do I charge? Dealing with the I can't afford it response without lowering my prices. Feeling like a fraud. Friends and families couldn't afford my new rates. I wouldn't pay that much for myself. Yeah, how much to charge if I need to give an extra hour or more? Yeah, okay, good. So I'm going to answer all those questions in a minute. So tip, talk about class, those questions. That's what we're up to next. So the third tip is make sure you know what they are comparing you to. Make sure you know what they are comparing you to, because if they had no basis for comparison, you need to educate them a little bit. Like fitness trainers had this problem for a long time, because when fitness training started, people were like, wait, what? You're going to pay somebody to watch you do sit-ups? That's stupid. Why would you pay somebody to do that? Well, now, like, you wouldn't even think about going to the gym without a trainer, practically. At least not in Southern California, you wouldn't. So fitness trainers had to establish a market. They had to price themselves like, okay, well, we'll price it like about the same as therapy, I guess. Maybe that's $100 or something an hour. And life coaches often get compared to therapists, but it's not therapy. So you need to be able to demonstrate, you may be thinking of this like it's therapy, but let me show you, again, the results you're going to get, or tell you about some of the results my clients have gotten. That's what you're paying me for, right? So you need to find, are they comparing you to a year in graduate school? If you take 365 Club Pro, and think of it as a year of getting an MBA, it's a great deal, right? Fiona has a suggestion for KD. Charge the parents and the school subsidizes. Great deal for parents, good deal for schools, good deal for you too. Right. There's all kinds of ways. We want to find the win-win-win-win-win-win-win, right? We want to find the product and the pricing and the services that feel great to you, feel great to them, are great for your team, are great for your business as a whole, are great for them, for their family, for the environment, for the guy who's parking the cars. Like, we want it to feel great for everybody. And that can take a little intuition, a little work, but when you do it, it feels wonderful. You'll never blanch on your prices again when you know that what you're doing helps everybody, that it's a great deal for everyone. Good. So and if you don't know what they're comparing you to, find out. Talk to them and know what the going rate is in your area for the kind of work you do, and be at the top third of that number. Okay. Be at the top third. It's a great, and you may even want to be way beyond it. It's a great way to differentiate yourself. And what you want people saying is, it's worth it. It's worth it. I just had somebody ask me yesterday, like, oh, do you offer scholarships or discounts? And I said, no. The price of the work is the price of the work. I am worth it, and so are you. And you can write that one down too. I do not offer discounts or scholarships because the price of the work is the price of the work, and I am worth it, and so are you. So those are the 3 tips. Double your prices, offer a money-back guarantee. Raise your prices by giving your existing clients an incremental step up and bringing in new clients at the new price. And make sure you know what they're comparing you to. Okay. All right. Let's talk this. Now let's enter the sales portion of our presentation. You may know I'm offering a class called 365 Club Pro. It's a year-long program. The tagline on the program is 10K in 15 minutes a day. 10K in 15 minutes a day. People say, really, can you really make $10,000 just working 15 minutes a day? I don't know, let's find out. Yes, in my experience, the answer is yes, but let's find out. And your 10K might be 10K a year. It might be 10K a month. It might be 10K a speaking gig. It might be 10K for your book proposal. Or you might want to release 10,000 poems out into the world. Or play 10,000 measures of music. Or see 10,000 children adopted. I don't know, whatever your 10,000 is. So you commit to 15 minutes a day to your project. I give you a call a week, and the calls differ. Some of them are teaching calls, some of them are expert calls. There's always time for live Q&A. Some of them are especially that. Small group accountability. It's a lot. This program is a sort of an evolution of something I've been teaching for the last 4 or 5 years. I used to teach a program called Creative Genius CEO. That was a $15,000 program. And people were taking it year after year. They were re-upping, wanting to do it again and again. So I figured out this 365 Club Pro is sort of the streamlined version of that program. So it's very simple. It's very elegant. It's sort of the best of that program, and it's a lot cheaper. So it's a call a week and 15 minutes a day. That's the whole deal. We'll be talking the first month. We're going to be talking all about the money because I want to make sure that the program pays for itself right away and hopefully 3 to 10 times over, right? I want to give you 3 to 10 times value. This is another great way to handle your pricing, by the way, to say, I'm charging this month, you should get X amount of value off. Fiona, I see your question. I'll get to you in a second. Let me finish talking about Pro first. We're going to be talking about, I structured this program very specifically to give you the structure, the accountability, and the container you need to move forward and to really see your own progress moving forward and have a lot of check-ins with me as you move forward so you don't get lost in the woods, but also to give you the freedom you need to do it your way. Because there isn't a right way to run a business. There's no right way to be an artist. There's no right way to be a writer. There's just your way. So I'm going to give you the foundations and the tools, and you're going to make it work for you. It's different from other people's programs who are like, well, follow my step-by-step program. The problem with that is, first of all, you guys aren't interested in step-by-step blueprint cookie cutter bullshit. That's not who you are. If I gave you a system, you wouldn't do it anyway. So who are we kidding, really, right? But if I give you the themes, if I give you the underlying truth of things, like we just talked about with money, you start to spin, your creative mind starts to go, right? And you will make it work in a way that makes sense for you, because we've got the book coach in New York, and we've got the potter in Canada, and the wedding planner in Florida, and the Welsh performance artist living in Buenos Aires. Like, it's a big, diverse community. So, and that's the other thing you get, of course, is access to this incredibly brilliant, diverse community. You can see just from the chat here how lovely and generous and interesting everybody is and what cool stuff they're up to. So that's, we'll be covering, first month is money. We're going to be talking about personal branding. How do you say who you are and what you do without stammering or feeling dumb? We're going to be talking about visibility. A lot of you have some serious visibility issues, and I get it. When you were a little kid, the ability to turn invisible at will was a survival mechanism. I understand. And it's hard to turn around 40 years later and say, okay, take center stage, and not have that feel like you're going to die. So we're going to work on your visibility issues and get you some media training if you want to be on TV or get interviewed. Be an expert, right? We're going to talk about retreats and events. We're going to talk about follow-up systems, because frankly, you guys know there is at least a couple of people who have wanted to work with you, colleagues, potential opportunities that have not happened because you dropped the ball, because you didn't follow up with them. In my world, this is what I like to call swatting money away. When you guys are like, no, get that money away from me. No. Right? So we're going to create a simple follow-up system so that that never happens to you again. That alone will double your revenue probably. Writing and publishing, intuition cultivation. We're going to talk about some taxes and legal stuff, product packages and products, creating wonderful products that people love to buy. So that's all this stuff. And you also get, as a bonus, you get like basically every other course I've ever taught. So you get it done workshop, which is great for project planning, budgeting and scheduling for the creative person. You get Turn Your Wisdom into Workshops, which is all about how to create and design and market and sell and deliver a fantastic workshop, either online or in person. You get Write Great Emails, which is my course on email marketing. Do you guys know that I'm an award-winning email marketer? It's true. I'm an Infusionsoft certified expert and an Ultimate Marketer finalist. You get Start Right Where You Are, which is kind of more about the inner game of creativity and entrepreneurship. So all those courses are available to you, and you can kind of pick and choose. And also I can direct you to them. I can say, oh, there's a great thing about how to name your product in the first class of Turn Your Wisdom into Workshops. Watch that right now. Fiona says, oh my God, Sam, visibility is the exact life challenging I'm working on right now. Well, there you go. So that's what this program is. Does that sound good to you guys? Can you commit 15 minutes a day, 1 call a week? You can be there live or you can watch the recording later. For a year. Are you wondering how much it is? You are. It's $5,000 for the year or $483 a month. But because you guys are here and because I've gone a little bit crazy, you can get in for $1. I am offering a $1 30-day trial for this program. This officially makes me a crazy person. I met with my coach today, whom I pay way more than this, by the way. And he was like, don't do it, Sam. Don't offer a 1-day trial. It devalues, you're not standing by your value, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, nope, I don't think so. I know. Here's what I know. When I talk to you all about this program, the issue you mostly have is self-trust. It's not that you don't trust me. It's that you don't trust yourself. I hear this all the time. Like, no, I know you're great. I know working with you would be great. I know getting your insights would be amazing. But I've bought so many things. I've signed up for so many things. I haven't done it. Okay, well, let's try it. Let's just reduce all the risk. You can get in for $1. It's 30 days. That's going to get you the first 5 calls. You won't get all the bonus things until after you pay the full price. That makes sense, right? But you'll get everything that I'm delivering live. And it's the money stuff. So hopefully in that first month, we're going to be able to work through your money stuff and you'll have the income. I mean, you've already said it's costing you $1,000 a month. This is half that, less than half that. And if you pay in full. So that's it. You can jump in for $1 and then you can either cancel before June 30th or you can keep going and we'll bill you the $483 and then that'll continue every month. And satisfaction guaranteed or your money cheerfully refunded. If at any point during the year you feel like this program is not living up to its potential, it's not living up to its promise, then you and I will have a phone conversation so that I know what's going on. And then I will refund you as much of your tuition as you want, including all of it, at any point during the year. That's how confident I am. That's how confident I am that the information I have and the way I have at looking at business and the creative process will help you. And how confident I am that you can do it. I know you can do it. I know you can do it. I know you can spend 15 minutes a day, every single day, on the projects that matter most to you. I know you can see results. I know you can make your income whatever you want it to be. And I know that you can handle the repercussions of success. I know that we can do it together. I know that we can create an entire movement of creative people who are filling the world with the joy of their work and the joy of helping people. And the financial abundance that means there's plenty for everyone. It's a whole new economy. I know you can do it. Registration closes June 1st. We start June 1st, so you need to get in on this before Thursday. After that, I will close registration, and I don't know if I'm going to open it again. And to be frank, I don't know if I'm going to be teaching anything else this year. I might be, but I don't know. I don't have any plans to right now. There's nothing on the calendar. I'll show you my calendar if you want. So if you want to work with me, this is your big chance. And, you know, I've had people get incredible results right away. You know, you can see some of the testimonials. So I want you in this program. Let's see. Stacy says your coach is right. You're crazy. I know. It's an experiment. It's an experiment. But try it. What do you have to lose? Jump in. It's $1. And if you want to quit, quit. I mean, I say come in hard. Like, let's do it for 30 days. Like, let's really rock this thing and see what kind of results we can get. Because I bet they're going to be extraordinary. And if not, no harm, no foul. Yeah. Good. Does anybody have any questions about 365 Club Pro, about the program? Wendy says, I'm in, that this allows me to create and earn the money to actually pay for the course. Exactly. That's my plan, that we're gonna get you unstuck financially right away. That's great. Good, Wendy, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. I'm glad to have you. And normally, you know, if I were a different business person, I would have, you know, somebody like checking the email and being like, so-and-so's in, so we're welcoming this person, we'll welcome that person, but I'm not like that. So jump in. It's an hour a week, 15 minutes a day. You know you have the time. Don't tell yourself it's not the right time, because if it weren't the right time, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't know about this. This is your opportunity. Don't let it slip by. Fiona's question was, money back guarantee isn't done in my sector. Would I necessarily need to be the one doing it? I don't know, honey. It depends on what your sector is. I mean, it might be a great differentiator. You know, it might be kind of a radical thing to do, but if it's not possible, then just figure out something else. But yeah, I would have to know more about your business. So sign up for 365 Club Pro, and then you can ask me. Because we've got the Facebook page. You can ask questions anytime. Okay. Allison says, feeling the love behind your eyes. Thank you. Thank you, Allison. Thank you. Anya here says, will you do a replay? I'm late. I think so. We had some technical difficulties, so I'm not sure if the replay is going to work, but if I can, I will. And if I can't, I'll see if I can redo it this weekend. It's a holiday weekend in the US, so it's a little weird to do it on Saturday, but maybe I'll see if I can. Good. I'm really excited. I'm really excited to welcome you all into this program. I don't know what to say about it other than that. Oh my gosh, there's so many of you here. This is an extraordinary community. Katie says, I would love to. I just got out of grad school. Is it really okay with you if I don't know how this will happen beyond the 1 month offer? Yeah, absolutely. It's 100% okay with me. Karen says, thank you for this amazing offer. You're right. Self-trust and thousands of dollars spent on other programs I never did anything with gets in my way. Yeah. Fiona says, thank you, Sam. My pleasure. You're welcome. Yeah, it's a little nuts. It's a little bit of an experiment. I may come back to you next time and go like, okay, I'm never doing this again because it was crazy. But I know you guys are great people. I know you're up to amazing things. And let me just say something about this thousands of dollars that you've spent on other programs, because I too have spent well into the six figures on programs. And first of all, of course you have. You're a lifelong learner. That's what you do. You love to learn things. I don't know why school tries to suck all the joy out of learning for people, but it didn't for you guys. You love to learn new things. You love to be in the communities of people who are learning new things, and you have a lot of talents and skills to augment. So it makes perfect sense that you would be learning a lot of things and have a lot of enthusiasms and pursue those enthusiasms. There's also no such thing as like not getting value out of something. I mean, again, this thing of what is it worth to them? Sometimes it's an important step on somebody's process to buy a program and not use it. In the same way that sometimes it's important to buy a book and not read it. To buy a gym membership and not use it. There can be value in that. It's not the value we would like to, as teachers, it's not the value we would like to assign to it. We want them to get the value out of the work, but sometimes just the value out of the experience. You know, when I enrolled in my first VIP program, I mean, the classes itself was like $25,000, I think. And then there was 7 retreats, all at 4-star resorts. And he made us fly first class. I mean, it was a lot of money, way more. And I didn't have it. I did not have it. But I knew that that's where my business was going. I knew that I could do it. And honestly, some days I think that if all he had ever done was just charge me that money and left me alone, it would have worked. Because my taking myself that seriously and saying, I'm worth it. My business is worth it. The people I serve are worth it. And I will make this work. Had such an incredibly galvanizing effect on me. I had never taken myself that seriously before. And it was a beautiful message to my inside to say, we're doing this. And it's like all of a sudden all the angels and all my inner stuff was like, oh shoot, she's serious. We better get going. Everybody, all hands on deck, let's go. And I started to do things and try things and risk things that I never would have before. Because I was ready to quit playing around. I was tired of being broke all the time. I was tired of working hard and not seeing results. I was tired of being tired. And now when I get tired, I take a nap because I can, because I'm self-employed, which is the bomb. So I want you to try it. What's the investment after 30 days? It's $483 a month, or you can pay in full at a little under $5,000, $4,997 for the year. Deborah, can I share the offer with a friend? Absolutely. More the merrier. Do it together. Get a buddy for sure. For sure. Wendy says, and we can make 365 Club Pro work for us as a thank you to you for your understanding and concern for our abilities and talents we have to share with the world. That's lovely. That's a beautiful, energetic exchange. Very good. Good. All right. So let's see if I can get to some of these questions. Ali wrote in, people say my artwork is powerful, but I'm not really sure I understand what they're getting from it. Yes, that's very common. Okay, here's the thing. This goes a little bit to the worth is not about you. You're never going to understand what people are getting out of your work or out of your art because you're not them. You know, you're inside here having this singular experience of you and the world. Everybody else is out here having this experience of you and the world. And you don't know what you don't know what they are seeing, and they don't know what you're seeing. We'll solve some of that when we talk about personal branding, right? We'll figure out what some of that language is that captures the truth. But it's in some ways it's not really your business what they're getting. You know, sometimes it's not even really your business. So trust them when they say. You can also start to pay attention, like what words are they using? What do people say to you over and over again about your work, about the effect that it has on them? But yeah, don't get hung up on that, because your ideas are always going to seem old hat to you because you've had them already, right? You're on to the next thing already. And sometimes you never know. You say one little thing, some random little thing, and it sparks this huge, world. You guys hear this? There's a garbage truck outside. Let me just close the window. Okay. Real life. Stacy says, part of why I want financial stability is so I have time for much needed social and political justice work. Yeah, exactly. But you got to make sure your cup is full first. Right? You can't give from an empty cup. That's not true generosity. When you're giving and you're depleting yourself, and for those of you who are in rent and grocery issues, this is not for you. Right? It's almost $500 a month. That's not, that's not playing around with money. So if you're having rent and grocery issues, don't enroll in this. Contact me, actually. I've got something else you can do that's much cheaper. But it's not nearly the same thing. Anyway, but yes, when you spend the time creating actual business systems, really getting your systems and processes in place, really getting clear on your pricing, really getting clear on your ideal client, really getting clear on, having a way to deliver your services that makes sense, then you have so much more to give back to your family, to your community, to the causes that matter to you. You can write them big, delicious checks. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. But yeah, don't try to do it when your wallet is empty, when your bank account is empty, when your energy is empty. Good, but that's a great reason. That's a great reason to make a bucket of money. And you may say to your volunteer and your church and your community and everybody else, say, hey, everybody, I will see you after the first of the year with a big check, but I'm going to spend the next 6 months building my business so that I have stability. I'm going to put on my oxygen mask first, and then I'm going to be able to turn around and really give to you in a way that's meaningful. Lisa says, making sure I'm charging what I'm worth and covering expenses. And I wanted to mention that because some of you do have hard costs involved, right? And when you have hard costs, when you have overhead, you need to know what those numbers are, and you need to build that into your pricing. But you also need to build in the hourly fee of the person delivering the services, whether that's you or somebody else. You need to build in the profit to the business, right? Because the business needs to make a profit separate from what you're getting paid. And you need to build in money to pay taxes, right? So all of those hard costs add up, and then there's the additional cost, then there's the additional value that you're giving, right? And what it's worth to them and what the market will bear. Like I said, there's an art and a science to it, but you need to, I have a friend who keeps saying she has a cupcake business, but she doesn't have a cupcake business. She just makes cupcakes and sometimes sells them. And when I was asking her, I was like, well, how much does it cost you to make a dozen cupcakes? And she looked at me like I had 3 heads. She was like, what? I don't know. I'm like, well, figure it out. Like, how much is butter? How much is flour? How much is sugar? Like, you got to know what your hard costs are. You got to know, how much time it takes you, right? And if you don't, that's not a business. Good. Karen asked a good question. She said, she works with intangibles, healing and intuitive counseling. So how can I place a realistic end value on my work when much of the results depend on the client doing their inner work? Good question. So here's the thing. I'm in this situation too, right? I can't guarantee your results. How could I? They're your results. You are the agents of change. You are the one in charge of this. What I guarantee and what I charge for is I will create the container. I will create the systems. I will give you the information. I will create the mechanisms by which you can succeed if you show up and do the work. I am responsible to you. I'm not responsible for you. That's another phrase I learned from my mentor, right? I'm responsible to you. I'm not responsible for you. Your results are your own, right? But I can promise you that I'll show up. I can promise you that I'll do everything I can and help you in every way that I can. And the people who've been in my programs before can attest, I'm super transparent about what goes on in my business and how I make decisions and why, and really let you see the inner workings of things, because I think that's the best way to learn. I think that's the best way to learn, is modeling. You know, when you see somebody else do it, oh, Sam built a business out of poetry. I bet I could do that too. Or, oh, Sam has a $30,000 consulting gig. I bet I could get one of those too. Oh, right. Good. Stacy says, Sam, thanks. That was very helpful. Good. Okay. Chandra asked, she says, I want to help. People need my work. Right. So, I have two things to say about this. Again, your ideal client needs you. They know they need you. They can easily pay you. They're not having rent and grocery issues. They can pay you, and they share your value systems. That's the only people we're selling to. We don't sell to anybody who doesn't fit this criteria. And so if your demographic is people who are having rent and grocery issues, like you're really looking to work with people who are at or below the poverty line, then you need to be subsidized from somewhere else, right? You need corporate subsidy, you need public subsidy, you need private donors, or you need to have some VIP clients who pay you tons of money so you can turn around and give back, you know, something free. I give a ton of stuff away for free, this, for example. Right, so you gotta be getting paid from somewhere. It's okay if your clientele can't pay you, but somebody has to pay you. You know what I mean? The other thing too, though, is this impulse to help. When you are running after people trying to help them, you're not helping them. Getting clients is like, it's like catching a cat. You ever tried to catch a cat? Like a cat gets out and you need to bring it back in the house. What's the one thing you can't do? Run up to it making a lot of noise, which is what some of you do when you're trying to get clients. Oh, let me help you, let me help you, let me help you. They will run away from you, and rightly so. How do you catch a cat? You put out a can of tuna, right? You give them something they're really interested in. And then you speak to them very gently, and then you let them choose you. Cats choose you just like clients. All right? So give up this idea that you're helping people. KD says, I am an artist who works with artists. I'm so happy to find you. Yeah, there's not a lot of us there. Elaine says, I'll be traveling until June 20th. When does the program start? It starts June 1st. But like I said, it's virtual. You can listen on the phone. You can listen on the computer. If you can't be there live, you can catch the downloads and the recordings. And we have a lot of internationals in this program, so there'll be a lot of people who are listening to the recordings. Good. Let's see if I got any other questions I can answer. Oh, this is good. I'm new, right? I'm just finishing up certification. How much should I charge? So here's something to meditate on. Here's a question to meditate on. Let's say somebody's just out of art school and or hasn't even gone to art school. It's their first painting though. It's the first thing they've ever painted. And they put a $500 price tag on it. Let's say they put a $5,000 price tag on it. Let's say they put a $50,000 price tag on it. Let's say they put a $500,000 price tag on it. Now I'm asking this question to you as a meditation. Notice what your reaction is. It's somebody's first painting. They've never painted before. They make a painting. They put a $50 price tag on it. 500, 5,000, 50,000, 500,000, 5 million. Where do your judgments come in? What would make it worth it? What would make it worth it? Right? There's lots of things that contribute to value, to making something worth it. Like if it were the one painting done by, I don't know, some incredibly famous person that you admired, and all the proceeds were going to charity, that might make it worth it. Or maybe it's super innovative. This person has an incredible vision. That might make it worth it. Or maybe it's just super trendy. That might make it worth it. So I don't subscribe to the belief that just because you're new at something, you should charge less or you're not as good, right? You have a certification, you have training, you have experience, you're doing it. So it depends on the program you're offering. It depends on your services, but I would charge what everybody else is charging. If nothing else, like I said, be in the top third of what people are charging. And again, offer a money back guarantee. But I think this interior game of like, well, I'm not really sure I'm that good, so I'm going to charge just a little bit. Like, again, this is not going to attract clients to you. This is not the kind of behavior that really inspires a ton of trust. Like, stand in what you know. You don't know everything. No, of course you don't. You know what you know. Right? You can't help everybody, but you can help those people. You can get to help the people 10 steps behind you get to where you are now. So you stand in what you know. And when you don't know something, you say, I don't know that. But I can help you find out. Or I know someone who does. Right? Okay, good. Good. Any other questions? I got a couple more minutes here before I have to jump. Okay, dealing with the I can't afford it response. Right. So you can do what I did, which is just take it away entirely and say it's a $1 trial. You have no excuse. But that's not going to work for everything, and it may not even work for this. Here's the thing. Everybody's going to say they can't afford it. It's just what people say because they feel like they can't afford it. So I usually ask two questions at that point when they say like, oh, I'm really interested, but there's no way I can afford it. I say, all right, so just so I'm clear, if this program were free or if money were no object, would you do it? And if they say, yeah, I totally would. I say, okay, well, that's good to know. So you're a yes. It sounds like you're a full body yes. And it's really just a question of the money. And we're pretty smart, creative people. I bet we can figure out the money. And then I help them strategize about how to find the money. If, however, I say, if this program were free or if money were no object, would you enroll in this program? And they go, well, I'm like, okay, good. Then we have some other objections or some other reasons that this may not be a good match for you. It's not the worst thing in the world for people to want something they feel like they can't afford. It often helps people get really creative. And it often helps people dream a little bigger for themselves, right? So those are two strategies. We'll talk more about this in the 365 Club Pro program because it's a lot of objections. But yeah, but understanding. But again, going back to there's no shortage of money in the world, and there's no shortage of ideal clients. So you need sales. You don't need this sale, right? If this person isn't going to work out, vaya con Dios, man. Maybe we'll work together some other time. KD says, I have an idea for a pop-up service in different cities. Is there a focus on pricing for new models, programs, product, service? Idea for a pop-up service in different cities. Is there a focus on pricing for new? Well, Katie, it depends on what you want. It depends on what you're building. I'm not quite sure what you mean by pop-up service, so I'm talking a little bit in the dark here. But if you're trying to sort of create a movement, if you want to create a lot of buzz, then you may want to start with something really expensive just to get volume, right? Because you'll attract a lot of people. You will eventually lose those people too, because you never want to compete only on price. But if you're just breaking into a market, that can be a way to do it. I would look for other ways. I would price it the way you want it to be priced. I would price it in a way that's sustainable for you and for them so that you're really attracting the right people into your service. I think that's as much advice as I can give you without knowing a little bit more about what you're up to, but yeah. Patrice says, I'm already in a big coaching program through October. I know I would get a lot of out of working with you, and I think adding your program onto my already busy schedule is crazy. Please tell me this is going to happen again. I can't tell you that, Patrice. I'm sorry. I don't know if it's going to happen again. I don't know if I'm going to open up registration again after June 1st. Here's what I'll tell you. I mean, again, if it's not right, it's not right, and that's fine. But I will say that I've had people do my programs while they're doing other coaching programs, and it usually works great because it's usually kind of it functions as an organizing principle, right? So it helps you, it'll actually make your life less crazy. I know that seems a little counterintuitive. And again, try it for the month of June. You know, jump in, try it. If it feels totally overwhelming and you hate it, then, you know, no. And if it works, then great. So that's what would be my advice. Enid, I was late tuning in. Is there a replay? That's the recurring question of this webinar. Is there going to be a replay? I don't know. There was some technical challenges. So either this replay will be available or maybe I'll try and do it again on Saturday. Good. Any other questions before we wrap up? Gita asked, how much to charge if I need to give an hour or more? You know, I don't time my sessions. I mean, I don't work with people one-on-one very much at all, but when I do, I just say they're sessions. I don't say how long the session is because they're not buying my time. I mean, if I can give you an idea that's going to make you $20,000 in the first 15 minutes of our call, why would we stay on the phone? If, on the other hand, it takes, 45 minutes or an hour to work through what we need to work through, then it does. So I don't quantify like, an hour session is this long and an hour and a half is this long and 2 hours is this long, like that. Plus, again, it just annoys me to do that. So was there another question? I wouldn't pay that much for it, or my friends and family couldn't afford that rate. Okay, so you're not your client. You don't have the problems that your client had. It doesn't matter if you wouldn't pay that much for it. That's not really a consideration. Because as long as you would pay that much for something and have paid that much for something, right? I don't think it's right to ask people to invest in themselves when you're not investing in yourself. You don't have to be investing in the exact same thing. But I think you need to understand what it feels like to invest, does that make sense? And this thing with your family and friends are not your clients. Your family and friends are not your fans. They're not your constituency. They are your family and friends. They're not in your life to approve of your work. They're in your life to love you and support you. And sometimes that sounds like discouraging you and not getting you, which is fine. You don't need your family and friends to understand what you're doing. You need a community like this to understand what you're doing and support you, right? So don't look to them. Don't look to them. And eventually, and I can tell you this from experience, there comes a moment when you are successful enough that it actually feels great to have family and friends who do not know what you do or care, to whom you're just the same old person you've always been. It can be a real relief to go somewhere and not be, famous-ish. So yeah, don't look to your family and friends to be your clients. You can look to their friends, like they can be good advocates for you if they know other people, but don't worry about your family and friends. You can't take everybody along with you either. We'll talk about that. Julie says, you mentioned don't do program if can't buy groceries. Can we go ahead with your $1 offer anyway? Of course. I'm not putting any restrictions on it, but you do just do an internal check for yourself. Like, if you really feel like you can, as far as I'm concerned, if you're enrolling, you're enrolling, and we're in this. But that's my agenda for you. So I think we can work a transformation, but you know you best. You know you best. I trust you. I trust your judgment. Katie says, thanks, it's a festival. Oh, okay. So yes, creating fans, creating a movement is perfect approach. Thanks again for today. The pricing will come from what I learned in 365 Club Pro. I will learn. That's right. Exactly. Exactly. Good. Good. Anything else you guys want to ask? Anything you're wondering about? I'm really hoping that you're all just in on this $1 thing. I think that would be, that would make me the most happy. And then it's my job to deliver as much value and oomph and impact in the first month so that you can't possibly leave, like so that it's so valuable and you're making so much money you can't possibly leave. That's my aim. That's my aim. And not all of you have a financial imperative. You know, for some of you, making the money isn't that big of a deal, but the visibility part's a big deal, or the getting the tech information, you know, how to run webinars and stuff is a big deal, or you know, understanding different business structures or understanding marketing is a big deal, and you want to learn it from somebody who's done it and is a recognized expert. So that's, you know, those are all equally good reasons to do it. I wouldn't do it if you're not the kind of person who likes to take responsibility for yourself. I wouldn't do it if you're the kind of person who likes to be a victim and blame others. I wouldn't do it if, is there another circumstance under which I would not do this program? I wouldn't do it if you're bored of me. I wouldn't do it if you really are not interested in succeeding in any way, shape, or form. And that sounds silly, but there's lots of people who aren't. There's lots of people who aren't. We're like, no, I like it small. I like hiding. You know, it's okay. You're allowed, but you could maybe hide a little less. You know, again, you guys are up to such incredibly interesting things. You're so special. You have so many talents and skills. You're good at so many things, and people love you. Have you noticed? Like, they're so interested in you, and you're so cool, and like, you just have to lift your head up a little bit. You just have to make it clear what it is you're selling and how people can give you money. I swear it's going to work. I've seen it happen a million times. Fiona, what time are the calls on the program? Same time as now. They're actually exactly the same time as now. They're Thursdays at 12 noon Pacific time, which is 3 o'clock New York time. It's 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern. I think it's 8 p.m. British Summer Time. 5 a.m. Sydney. I can't remember what time it is in New Zealand. A little bit later, but yeah. So that's this is the time if you're watching this live. Katie, can you point me in direction of business structures for arts-based services and production so I can get ready for this journey? Direction of business structures for arts-based services. I'm not sure I understand your question, Katie. I'm sorry. You want to just send me an email and we can talk a little more about this because I'm not quite sure what you're asking me. Probably though. Are the calls recorded? Yes, of course. They're all recorded and you can access them anytime. And a lot of people like to listen to them 2 and 3 times. Like some people like to go back and check them again. 5 a.m. Sydney time, right? I know. It's early in Sydney. But I'm often up at 5, so I don't think of it as being that early. There you go. Good. All right, so 365 Club Pro, 15 minutes a day, hour and a half call a week. That's the whole program. We're going to be talking about you and what you're up to, and it's really your program. If there are things you guys want to learn about, I'll put it on the agenda. I'm happy to teach it. That's one of the reasons why I morphed into this newer structure, is so that I had the freedom to build the curriculum as we go. I have stuff mapped out, but I'm happy to change it as you guys need. So if you're just beginning, I think it's a good investment. If you've been going for a while, but it's not going the way you want it to, I think it's good. If you're really just ready to get to the next level, whatever that is, I think it's a good investment. Julia says, okay, I placed my order. I'm excited. Yay, I'm excited too. Yay. Good. Let's do one more. Allison just signed up. Yay. Oh, you guys are making my day. We're going to have so much fun. Okay. Let's do one more round of breathing just to close out this circle. Really do something nice for yourself today. You know, it doesn't have to be anything big or expensive, but you know, take yourself for a walk, call a friend, get some sparkly shoes, buy an ice cream. I don't know, whatever it is that turns you on, because you've made a big commitment today and you're going to have feelings about that. You're going to have feelings. If you don't sign up, you're going to have feelings too. So but you guys are good with feelings. You understand. Allison says, I'm in a crazy period of grief, so not sure if I can handle it, but I'm taking you up on your month's offer. Hopefully I'm ready. Allison, I've had people in your position before, and they've gotten incredible strength through the grieving process, through this. It's not what it's designed for, but somehow it works for that. So I'm excited to have you in. Good for you for taking the plunge. Fiona says, 5 a.m. is fine, Sam, and well worthwhile. I get up at 3 for another program. Right on. Yay for early birds. Okay. Yes, so you're going to have feelings no matter what you decide. And go ahead and decide right now. Just decide right now. You're in, you're out. Just decide. The saying like I need more time or I have to think about it, it's just taking up extra brain space, and you need that for your work. So go ahead and decide for yourself, yep, it's for me, I'm in, or nope, not for me, I'm out. And whatever you do, I'm so glad that you're part of this community and part of this family. Stacy says, okay, fine. Okay, fine. Good. I'm delighted. All right, let's do one more round of breathing just to close out this time together. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here. I'm honored. I'm honored by your presence. Let's inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for doing this with me.